All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, Phoenix Rising community. It's your boy, Ken Ward. And I just want to say thank you for joining us once again. We really appreciate all of you. Let me get all the tags out the way. You know that you need to support the channels. We're on, follow us on the IG, hit the like on the YouTube. You all know what to do. You've been doing this for a long time. The engagement, get the engagements up. We need all of that. This is a internet, Facebook world. Y'all know what the likes are. Y'all know what the notification bell is. Nobody's new to this. Nobody's new to this. Is 2020. So we need y'all to get that stuff up, and we welcome you to yet another spotlight on business. We have with us today Bruneley Lalanne from out of South Florida. And we say South Florida because only people in Florida know the counties. So she's going to actually tell you where in South Florida she is, but she is a attorney in private practice. That means she owns her own business, which we are all about. We believe in building the business class here at Phoenix Rising Solutions. You're in for a heck of a show. She has a heck of an origin story for all my Marvel and DC fans. And she's going to not only impress us with her abilities as a business owner, but she's also going to impress us in her why and her belief in what she can do for the community and why she does what she does. So without further ado, and you all having to listen to me anymore, I'd like to introduce you to Bruneley Lalanne, attorney at law, Esquire. How are you?
I'm good. And how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I really want to thank you for joining us, the Phoenix Rising community, which we are dedicated to educating, informing, and inspiring. And I keep mixing those up because we're all trying to do all three, and none is more important than the other. People are like, well, you said inspiring, educate. Look, those three words. We want to inspire you, we want to educate you, and we want to inform you. However you get it is however you take it, but that's what we're trying to do.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. First and foremost, thank you for having me. Thank you for having a platform like this so that I can, so we can spotlight my business, but also spotlight all the other businesses that you have done already, and I'm sure you're about to do more. So thank you for that. That's super important. I think, especially during COVID and the pandemic, we can't go out there and like mingle like we used to do, although I know some of us are still doing that.
Right, yeah. Depending on what part of the country you're on. Some people don't even believe in COVID, but But you know, when we are back in studio, I'd love to have you. But right now I have you now, and want to introduce you to the Phoenix Rising community. One of the things we want to do is that if you are in South Florida, we're going to give you all of Bruneley, I'm gonna get it right. Bruneley's information, and I can only call her Bruneley. The rest of y'all call her attorney. But all her information. So if you're in South Florida, that you can use her as your attorney, and if you're putting together a team, you might want to consult her. So this is her platform. So Bruneley, do us a favor and give us again. I always call it your origin story because you know me and my brother were big comic book fans.
Okay. So is my brother. So
there's no superhero that does not have an origin story. And I believe that we all have our superpowers, and I believe that you're coming into your own, per our previous conversation, coming into your own superpowers. So give us your origin story.
Well, first and foremost, I am actually a South Floridian, born and raised in the county of Dade, Miami-Dade, Florida, 305. Go Miami Heat, go Hurricanes.
My man down there, but we'll talk about that later. Jimmy Butler. Talk about that later. Go ahead, just tell your story.
So my family is from Haiti. I am the first generation American.
Oh,
Yes.
Phoenix Rising community, we are having difficulties.
Oh,
Bruna,
can you hear me?
uh,
Can you hear me?
I can't. You are back. You are back with us. You know
Okay.
the great thing about being on the internet is everybody knows that there are difficulties. We're building this thing while we fly. So you go back to Haiti. Like
Yeah.
that's the last thing we heard.
Okay. So my parents are from Haiti. I'm a first-born generation American. Born and raised in the county of Dade. Went to school here basically my entire life. I am a hurricane. I bleed green and orange. Um, then after college, I went to law school in Jacksonville, Florida Coastal School of Law. Graduated from there 2011, passed the bar in 2012, and I started working as a public defender in the 17th Judicial Circuit in Broward County. In 2013, I left in 2018, I believe, the end of 2018. Worked for several small firms, or not large firms and some small firms, and did that for 3 years. And then in April of this year, I opened my own firm. Yes, in the middle of a pandemic. I've never been one to do. I've never been one to do what everyone expects you to do. I just kind of do my own thing, and everybody's like, "Only you would do that." Yeah, that's usually the response I get. But I'm cool. I'm fine with it. I mean, my parents didn't. My parents gave me a name that's not common, so I figured, why not go with that flow? Currently, I am. Oh, I practice law in several different areas. One is criminal defense, personal injury, family law, probate, and I also do civil defense. But usually, when someone sues you and you are looking for someone to represent you, that's who you call. That's who you call. So that's pretty much it. I hope that's enough for the origin. I mean, I could go into more, but I know we only got a limited amount of time. So that's how I tacked in 30 plus years of my life.
That's cool. That's cool. So after you got bitten by the radioactive spider and got your superpowers of litigation, huh?
No, I would say
the superpowers of litigation.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. You said radioactive. Go ahead.
I would say the radioactive spider was probably my grandfather. He passed away in 2010 in the earthquake. He and my grandmother. Mm-hmm. And he always talked about, he always talked about how I was going to be the first attorney in the family. And so I continued on this path in order to keep his memory and honor his memory. I finished law school, and then I took the bar 3 times. So in other words, anybody who's listening and who's watching, don't ever give up. Ever give up. And if you're ever going to give up on something, make sure that you're able to say, I gave it all I can, and you cannot look back and regret the effort you put in. I say all that to say, the 3rd time I took it, I knew for a fact that I gave it everything I could. And if I didn't do it, and I passed. So clearly that was God's.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That was God's, that was my path. Whether I wanted to believe it or not, that was my path. And another thing I'm going to tell people is that you can't run from what you are ordained to do, period. You can try. I know I have. But you can't. You just can't.
Okay. So. All right. So Brew. Can I call you Brew?
Yes, you can.
All right. So Brew. So I don't think that you. I want to make sure you know that I didn't miss the fact that you said that in the middle of a pandemic, I decided to leave my good government job and start my own business.
Right.
Explain to the Phoenix Rising community all that went into that thought process, that gumption, where this is a good idea for me.
Well, so I left my government paying job with public defender's office in 2018. I left because, you know, I don't care what type of government attorney you are. There comes a point where you just feel like you don't have the same drive for whatever reason. And you're not able to give it that same energy you used to. Sometimes it's a matter of taking a couple months off, taking a couple years off, what have you, and then you get better. But I was never that attorney. I was that attorney that everyone looked to when, oh, okay, I'm gonna come up with a defense. I got it. Mm-hmm. And I'll make it believable for me, because if I can make myself believe it, I got it. Y'all can believe it. And it was a particular case that I got, and I wasn't able to do it in that moment. I knew, I was like, ooh. And I am a firm believer of, especially if you're a public defender, that you got to do your job with enough zealousness and passion in order to get sometimes the results that you need. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have that in me in that moment anymore. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to do my job as a public defender if I didn't back up and walk away. I'm doing everyone, including my clients, my future clients, a disservice. So it's time for me to walk away. And I think the best kind of attorney or public defender out there is the ones that are like, yo, I need a break. The ones who recognize that are, I guarantee you, probably one of the best by far, because we're humans. It's day in, day out. You're in court day in, day out. You're having trials back to back to back to back, motions, sometimes police officers who are not the nicest people, and you're getting it from all ends, from clients to state attorneys to judges, you name it, you got it. So I left, I did private practice also because I wanted to see something different. I went straight from law school, and I, don't get me wrong, I still do it today, but I make sure other areas of law. And hence I went into private practice. I did a lot of civil defense work. Can you hear me? Can you still see me?
Yeah, I can still see you. You break it. There we go. There we got you. I got you.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of civil defense work, insurance defense. I represented multi-million, billion-dollar companies. I've gotten cases dismissed for those companies. And that was great, but I miss the interaction with people. I miss the gratification I would get after I've won a case or after I've helped a client out, and then they tell me that I've helped them somehow, some way. I miss that. And I also miss not really having direct communications with our clients and asking them, like, just making sure that their needs are being met, you know, mm-hmm. Obviously if it's possible. So in March of this year, I was like, I'm not happy. So then I didn't know what to do. And the pandemic happened, work was whatever it was. And having my own private firm was something I've thought about for a very long time. It's not something I just like, oh, whatever. But I'm going to be honest, I was scared. I was scared to take that jump, scared to take that leap. Even though I knew that God was telling me to do it the day I left the public defender's office. Mm-hmm. But you know, I'm a stubborn child, so it took me some time. And I got there, and in April, I opened it up. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what would happen, but I can tell you it felt right, but it also felt uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And in order to have success, any type of success, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. Being comfortable is mediocrity. Being uncomfortable, that's where success is. That's where the savagery comes in. And I did it, you know, and I'm learning every day. And it's been pretty well. I have to say, it's not like the best, but it's not horrible. And I thought with the pandemic, I was like, am I crazy? I probably am crazy. Like, who is going to hire me? They've never met me a day in their life, never even touched me. They're going to say, I trust you with my life and my criminal case. Yeah, okay. I trust you in my domestic violence case, but I don't know you. I've never seen you, never touched you, but yeah, I trust you. I have to say that God knew what he was doing. because people have trusted me. They've never met me. Obviously, sometimes there's a little trepidation, but then after they see me and hear me, not really see me, but hear me, and then after they see the results, they're like, thank you. And I listen. I think that's a part, especially in I want to say private world, we don't do. I don't feel like a lot of people really listen to their clients and let them be heard. You know what I mean? Like, we're so quick to, okay, this is the type of case that's coming in. I already know what to do, which is probably quite true. But let them be heard. They want to be seen and heard. So many times, hence why they hire an attorney, because they go by themselves and they don't feel like they're being seen or heard. Let them be seen or heard. And in the process of doing that, not only do you cultivate a relationship with someone who honestly feels for the very first time that they're being heard, but you also get to cultivate a possible resolution for them that is unique to them, which is super important, because I don't resolve cases unless I not only have my clients okay, but resolve them in a way that I know my client will be okay. They're not going to come back to me about something not working for this case.
All right, let's go.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was finished. I apologize. That's my fault.
No, you're good. You're good.
But we're going. I just want you to know the Phoenix Rising community is going to talk about South Florida's internet, because you froze a couple of times.
I'm sorry. I'm trying. This is not my thing.
Yeah, we got people watching from all over the country and Puerto Rico, so they're going to be like, oh, they don't have really good internet in South Florida.
We don't. I mean, we don't.
Like Dade County got the weather, but the internet, I don't know about all that. So
yeah, because we don't want to be bothered. We're going to be at the beach.
Right.
Why would we want to be bothered?
Right. I got you. I got you. So I did want to go back, because again, so this is the inspiring piece, and this is because I've actually had this conversation with some of the folks in the Phoenix Rising community. That part where you said you were scared, everybody gets the scared, but you did it anyway. So there are some people out there that's going to watch this, that they need to know what that I did it anyway is. Like, can you pinpoint what that was? That I'm scared, but you know what? This is what I'm going to do. Like, what that little, I keep doing my hands like this, so I want to. So what's that little piece that got you from staying? Like, because you could have stayed in the comfy, I'm doing litigation, I'm doing civil litigation. You could have stayed there. Like, you had options not to do what you're doing, but you chose you chose what you're doing. What was that?
The unhappiness and not being gratified, like emotionally gratification, was more pressing than the actual fear. And so to me,
go ahead, I'm listening.
Like, to me, that was like, listen, I don't care. I'm a person that puts happiness, whatever that looks like for each individual person, above anything else. And I wasn't happy doing what I was doing anymore. Granted, I've gotten great results. I was great at what I did. It wasn't gratifying. So I said, oh, no, gotta go. And, I also have to say, and I said this before, but maybe it froze, I don't know. But for me, this was something I already knew I was supposed to do. I was just scared. And within those years, I grew up, I matured, and I was like, listen, what else do I have to lose? If I don't make it, I don't make it. But I'm gonna be fine. I've always somehow landed on my feet. Even my parents and my brother jokes about this all the time. They're like, you've always landed on your feet. No matter what you do, you land on your feet. But that's not to say I land on my feet without doing the work. So anybody watching, you gotta do the work. You can't just be landing on your feet. You gotta do the work, and then you'll land on your feet.
To land on your feet, right. But I think that's important. And I appreciate you for saying that, because I think that fear stops a lot of people. And if I'm hearing you correctly, you kind of almost got to choose your emotion. You want the fear emotion, or you want to let that control you, or you want your seeking happiness to control you, or do you want, like you said earlier in the conversation, this has been your calling. You were just running from it.
Correct.
You know. And so what do you do? So you're going to choose something.
Right.
And it's okay to choose, but just know that you're choosing something. If you're choosing the fear to stay someplace that you know you're miserable at, but because you're scared and they pay you every week, because again, this is an advertisement for Phoenix Rising. We're here to build the business class. Like, we believe in the business class. So because we believe the business class is the people who donate to the Black colleges, and I will give Miami a little bit, but they got a football team that makes a lot of money for them. But we'll give Miami a couple dollars, but they don't need no money. But it's that business class that will donate to the Miles colleges and the Tougaloo's and the I'm trying to say all the schools I didn't go to, because people say I shamelessly plug all my universities. So
Bethune-Cookman,
the Bethune-Cookmans,
Florida A&M,
Florida
Memorial University. I can go on, but I may not have gone to them, but I know of them.
Right. And then they need your check too.
Right.
So we really want to build a business class. So we're here, and with you, Bruce. So people say, yeah, you Bruce, fabulous. Like, she's doing her thing, but she's human too. She was scared, but God took care of that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, going back to what you were saying, like, you got to choose your emotion. If you choose to be unhappy, but with a job that's paying you, okay, but understand there's consequences to every decision you make, good or bad. Mm-hmm. So understand that your mental won't be okay. You're getting money, but your mental won't be okay. You may not work out anymore if you used to work out, because I used to work out religiously. I mean, now I'm back on it, but at that time I wasn't. So there are consequences, and you have to ask yourself, is this the level of living I want to do? That was mediocrity at its best. Like, that was 100% mediocrity. I am now at not mediocrity. Yeah, I may not know where my next check is going to come from, but I'm living, which is different than most people can say. Like, I'm actually living. I'm living within my purpose. I was able to put together a march, a Black Lives Matter to Lawyers March in this middle of this pandemic. Would I have been able to do that if I worked for a private law firm? Probably not. To let my clients know who are in custody in Broward County, where there's a pandemic, they're supposed to social distance, and they're supposed to get PPE, but they don't get it. And let them know, and I'm walking outside there and I'm telling them that you matter. Just because we're talking about all these people that not passed away, because that makes it passive, that were murdered, we didn't forget about you either, because you're just as much a victim of this system as they were. And so I'm living in my purpose. I was not meant to be mediocre. That's not what I was meant to be. Hell, I'm Haitian. I'm not meant to be mediocre.
For those of you who don't know, that is an allusion to Toussaint Louverture and him beating the mess out of France, not once, but twice.
Exactly.
So yeah, for our young folks who don't know what that alluded to, yeah, she is Haitian. She is Toussaint Louverture, and if you don't know who he is, please pick up his autobiography.
Absolutely. So, I have been able to do a lot in this short amount of time. Things I didn't even know I could do, things that people, told me about that I was like, oh, wow, I didn't, okay. And, I'm still fighting. I'm still grinding it out. Anytime there's an issue, I'm the first one to pick up something and let's talk about it, because y'all want to talk about it. And I'm going to give you the real. One thing about me as a public defender, everybody knew, even the judges, even the state attorneys, they're like, oh, she's going to give us the real. Regardless, I'm going to tell you how my client got here, because you want to act like there's so many things, so many privileges, so many opportunities available to, yeah, they are to you because you are white. They're not. By the grace of God and by my parents, I'm able to be here. And I'm not a statistic, because by all statistic means, I wasn't supposed to graduate college, let alone high school. My brother was not even supposed to be past high school. and be alive? Yeah, right. That's not supposed to happen. So, I think that I'm the person that I'm in court and I'm telling you, like, before you sit there and say, oh, well, no, it's not. It's not. It's not available to everyone. Well, you got here, because it was easy for me. Like, my parents didn't suffer and didn't work hard to get me to a place where I thought everything was easy. That's an accomplishment. That is a huge accomplishment. For me not to even know that stuff was hard until I got to be like really like a public defender. I was like, wait, what? That's different. Like
shout out to your parents, some good Haitian stock.
Right. I didn't have my first negative interaction with law enforcement till I was a public defender. Like, that's crazy. And I was an adult by that point. Right. An adult.
So let's go back to another point. So I always I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you the first question that we always ask all our guests, and then I'll go back to another point you made earlier on. So next question I'm gonna ask you is, what is your why? So I think we might have covered it, but I always want to ask it directly. What is your why? Why do you do what you do? Like we believe at the Phoenix Rising community that if you have a why, that like you said, like God has given us all a purpose, and you kind of know when you get it because you don't need an alarm clock anymore. When you're operating in your why. So does that make sense?
It does.
So what is your why?
I mean, my why, and it's on my website, is make sure my clients' voices are heard, because that's important to me. So when I say that, I mean that I want my clients to not be part of the system. So if they're coming to me for a criminal defense matter, my goal is to make sure you never come back to me for a criminal defense matter ever again. And that we get you either through the system or we beat the system, complete the system. And for you to take that experience and pay it forward. Pay it forward to your friends, pay it forward to whomever. Because I do go out there and I end up meeting random people. I end up meeting my intern randomly. And I want to speak positivity into our community. And I want to speak a fire into our community. But I also want you to know how the system works and understand how do we go around it? How do I finesse my way around it? Because honestly and truly, that's what we need. I don't need to see any more of my people in the system, period. I don't. It's not something I need. That's something I want. And if I can help you, then I've served my purpose. Whether it's one person, whether it's an auditorium of people, I've served my purpose, because I really believe God put me on this earth to educate our community and also help our community any way I see fit. No matter how dead tired I am. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing anymore. I'm tired. Someone calls and every part of me is like, but just go to sleep. I will pick up that phone. It actually happened to me this past week. I will pick up that phone and be, what's going on? It's 10 o'clock at night. What's going on? And that is not part of what they hired me for. Then the next morning, I will make sure I've answered your questions and you can complete it and you can do it. And I'm just like, one of my girlfriends was like, you are just like so, like, I was like, I can't. My conscience does not allow me to do that. I know. I think it also comes from the fact that my father was a teacher for too many years to count. My mom is a nurse practitioner. My grandfather was a pharmacist. I mean, we just are a family of let's help everyone we can help. Whether that was in my blood, probably. Now looking at it, talking to you about it, maybe that was in my blood and I didn't realize. But I'm not in the business of not helping people if I can help you and educate you and not be part of the system.
That's good. So we covered the criminal. So if you're in Dade County, if you have a referral in Dade County, or really the state of Florida, because Brew will travel. Yes. She will travel. So Florida's a big state, but if you have a referral in Florida, give Brew a call. Where would they call you at, Brew?
305-537-6623. You can also find all the information on my webpage, Lalanne, Lalanne, law, LAW, P as in Paul, LLC as in cat.com. So my last name, law, PLLC.com.
All right. So she has a website. Now, so are you on the gram? Because you know I'm cool like that.
I am on the gram. I am. My business page is, my IG business page is Lalanne Law PLLC, and I actually give like a little legal tidbits every so often, every week, about certain things. And I also take like questions from potential clients from wherever. If you have something that you want me to talk about, I'll do like a little Lalanne legal tidbit to kind of give you a general idea about what it is and what are the consequences, if there are consequences, of what you can do if that's what you're asking. So I do that, and yeah, I'm on the gram and I'm on Facebook, Lalanne Law PLLC, same thing. So any questions, anything you have a question about, feel free to reach out to me. I will respond. May not be exactly at that moment, but I will respond. So
right. So your response is coming. Be patient.
Right.
So I always believe that we are going to get monetized on one of these forums. So if you're watching us on YouTube, hit the like, hit the notification. Again, hit the like, hit the notification. If you're on Facebook, hit the like button and share it. Share it. We're going to get monetized. We're going to have 150,000 followers by tomorrow. And then we're going to 1 million, because this information that you're getting from all over the country from business owners is you can only get here. I don't care what anybody tells you. You can only get here at Phoenix Spotlight on Business. So and that's cool. That's cool if you don't hit any of that. That's fine. We understand. All right, because being in business isn't for everybody. I don't want to talk about nobody. Being in business for everybody. So we understand. But if this is good information, if you've been inspired thus far, because we got a long way to go. But I know that I always talk like we're going to get monetized. So there's a commercial coming up for something that your algorithm on your phone is going to show you. So I just want to make sure before the commercial comes up that you like, share, and subscribe. All right. Now that we're back from whatever YouTube showed you, let's go into what else, let's go into your business. All right. Let's go into where you are, where you plan to be, because, being in private practice, having a law practice, there's a lot of ways you can go with that. So what's your vision?
My vision is, first, we're going to get out of this pandemic so I can actually be out amongst people and meet people, and people can really get a feel for who I am. And in several years, or a couple of years, I'm going to say a couple of years, I'm going to put it out there. In a couple of years, I actually want to be able to be on larger platforms talking to us as a community and help and trying to figure out what's the best way I can help my community, and also being able to change the laws in Florida as it pertains to criminal justice. Currently in Florida, the state attorney's office gets to make all the decisions as it pertains to whether a charge is filed, whether to impose minimum mandatories on certain crimes. Yeah, all that some of this needs to go. And I've seen how it's directly affected my personal clients, their families, and so on and so forth. So my goal is to shine a spotlight on the system that we have in Florida and to have it changed, period. Because it's not fair. And that's one of my key passion projects when it comes to the system, how the charges are done in Florida, who gets to make those calls, and so on and so forth, because there have been times I personally had a case where even the judge is not happy about imposing the minimum mandatory and actually tried to do everything in his power to try to convince the state not to do it. That shouldn't be the case. And you're just doing it because you felt like it? Like, are you, like, this is somebody's life. Like, no. Like, I think we lose sight of the fact that when we talk about the criminal justice system, we are talking about people's lives, not like, you know, they're not going to be able to, or no, their life.
Right.
Period.
Right.
In terms of the other passion project I have is family law as it pertains to, like, especially domestic violence. Domestic violence has been on the rise since the pandemic. And really trying to talk to my clients, male or female, about domestic violence and certain things that maybe they should consider and how it may get worse. But also, I've been on the other side where I've spoken to people and say, listen, this is not to be used as a weapon against someone because you're mad at them. That's not how this works. And I've seen it happen.
I gotta stop you there. And I'm just saying, because I've actually seen this. So you say because you're mad at a man, he shouldn't spend 2 weeks in jail?
Yes. Like, it's crazy.
Okay, go ahead. I just wanted to get that out there. Like, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen.
And I've seen it happen. It's no. If you're mad, okay, figure another way to release your anger. Go to therapy. I don't know. Go to the gun range. I don't know. Go to golf. I think golf, they say, is good.
Of course you would freeze on that one.
Oh, I said, can you see me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I said go to golf, go to the gun range, go boxing. Boxing is a great way. Go running. I don't do something other than let me get the police involved. Let me get law enforcement involved. Let me get the courts involved because I'm mad. No, I've seen family members do it to each other, and I'm like, what? No, just don't give them a piece of pie. Like, what? What were you doing? We're getting the police involved? Like, no. And it's sad because I don't think people really grasp the consequences of doing these types of things.
Right.
It's not an easy, okay, whatever. And then some people are like, well, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to go forward. Well, it doesn't matter anymore. You took it out of your hands now and you gave it to the system. We don't care what you want. It's not about you anymore. And so I think people need to also understand that, you know, also, and this is a tricky thing because I tell people all the time, if you really want the courts involved in your personal life, then go ahead and do what you want to do. But you got to ask yourself, because once the courts are involved, they're pretty much going to be involved for pretty much the rest of your life, whether you like it or not. Because if there's an issue, guess what? That case is now reopened.
You said they don't let it go. You want our community to know that they don't let it go. Like it's not I wanted you involved on Tuesday, but it's Friday now. We good? That's not how it works.
That's not how it works. It's not that simple. It's really not that simple. And so I am not saying to not use the courts if it needs to be used. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, think about it before you get the courts involved. If this is a matter that you can resolve with whoever without getting the courts involved, try to do that. That's all.
And don't be shy about Phoenix Ride. Phoenix Ride, we're a community that believes in truth and compassion. Like, we understand that there are bad people and bad things happen, but we also understand that you could be compassionate to get for someone. And I think that's what goes out the door, is that, you know, you hear, and I'm gonna say, but you hear the word abuse, and, you know, and everybody forgets that some compassion for everybody involved. Like everybody can actually be wrong. like everybody involved can actually be wrong because they went forth on their emotions. And I'm not excusing person X or excusing person Y. I'm just saying that, you know, well, where was the compassion and understanding before it all went haywire? Because, like you said, come Friday, you know, the courts don't care that y'all made up. The courts don't care. Somebody's got to, the police was called, and now we got to make it. We got to make their time worth something, and that usually means somebody going to jail or probation, or it don't always result in an all prize, does it?
No. And I just want to, I guess, add on that. Like when I say calling the police, I'm talking about, like, I've had people, there's nothing that happened between them. They call the police and make up their own little story because they're pissed. So that's what I'm talking about. I in no way, shape, or form am talking about any type of abuse, whether it's from a female, male, what have you. However, if you have gotten to the point where you are calling the police on someone because they put their hands on you, and you might have put your hands back on them, then maybe y'all should reevaluate whether you should be in the same space together.
Right.
Because
and there's a different call for that if y'all don't need to be in the same space together. Like we said, we got counselors and social workers for that.
Right. Like I think that people really need to. I get it. No type of violence, I don't care who comes from, is I do not condone any of it at all. However, if you're in a situation where violence is going on between you and that person, I think not only obviously protect yourself and make sure you do whatever you need to do, but then you need to reevaluate whether you need to be with that person, because you should not be in a situation where someone's making you think about doing violence to this person or yourself or what have you, ever. Because I've seen way too much going on during this pandemic. That is just, wow. It's just, wow. That's all I gotta say, wow.
Wow. And that's all we need you to say. We all need you to say. And me and Bru had a conversation offline, so I just want y'all to know she from Dade County. She can throw them hands. Don't sleep on her.
Yeah. So, in defense of myself. That's all I'm saying. In defense of myself.
Right. We got you. So when you're not at the beach, because you all have one of the most famous beaches in the world. I mean, it's the south of France and it's Miami. Like, I don't think there's any more famous beach than those two. But this is a good time to talk about y'all stealing my man. We would have a championship if my man Jimmy Butler wasn't in Miami. So I kind of was rooting for him on the sneak tip, being a Sixers fan and all, and being a sports guy. I was kind of rooting for him on the sneak tip. I didn't tell nobody, but they didn't come.
Well, this year, we won't be back. I am not tripping. We will be back, and we will get our ring and our trophy.
All right. Well, you from Miami, you supposed to believe that. So
hey, who made it to the championships this year? Oh, that's right, Miami. Oh.
There you go. I told y'all Bru wasn't. I told you Bru ain't. Don't try to play Bru, man. She quick with it, man. She quick with it. I got you. So let's go back to like I said, you're doing the domestic stuff, you're doing the criminal stuff. You're doing the personal injury. Did we talk about the personal injury that you let them know?
I do personal injury. Personal injury is, if you get hurt and injured in an accident, a car accident, a trip and fall in a store, you could and you get injured, you can sue, the store or the person driving the car. I will say that when people do get injured, if you do get injured, the first thing you need to do, or you should do, is make sure you get treated. First and foremost thing, make sure you get treated. Second thing, definitely get an attorney who's going to help your interests, because a lot of times what people don't know is that a lot of times cases can be resolved rather quickly and in their interest, the quicker you get it done. And there also is a statute of limitations. So don't sleep on it. Don't wait till like 4 years later, all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's ever since that accident. Well, your statute of limitations is up now, so sorry. There are things that people don't think about, and also remember like things that you used to do that you can't do, or you do with difficulty now. We take it for granted because we don't really put that much thought into it, but those are things that you need to consider. And also, like, now that you've got this injury, what are things that you're not going to be able to do? Are you still going to need more treatment in the future? Because once you resolve that case, 9 times out of 10, you can't go back and ask them for more money because you forgot that you were gonna, or you didn't realize. So it's very important to not only have an attorney, because the attorney will ask these types of questions, will actually ask your provider, well, what are we looking at in terms of long term? Are we looking at a long-term effect? Are we talking about the next 5 years, next 10 years, forever? Is she going to need surgery? Is he going to need surgery in the future? These are all things that you want to, that when you get an attorney involved, they will ask questions like that, because sometimes I actually meet people like, oh, I didn't think about all that. Yeah, I know. I need you now to think about all that, because that's important to determine the type of money you can get from, the business, the insurance, what have you. So that is something that a lot of people don't realize. And a lot of times they don't want to go to trial. Trial is more expensive for them than it is for you. We're talking about like hundreds of thousands of dollars just for trial. So 9 times out of 10, they do not want to try a case. It's more money for them than it is to resolve it. That's just the honest to goodness truth. So if you feel like what you're getting is not fair and you don't like it, after speaking to your attorney, you discussed everything and you want to still go forward, that's well within your right. You probably will get more, but also realize that there's also a possibility you may not get more. So, but those are things to think about. Personal injury is, and also you don't get paid out right away. That's something that a lot of people have been like, oh, I'm going to get my money in the next 3 months. No, because you probably haven't even finished your physical therapy yet. So it's a process. And that's something that I really wanted to touch upon, because I've gotten that. Some people are like, oh, well, I'm going to get my money in the next 3 months. No, I don't know who told you that, but no. If you want to get the most money, then you need to finish your treatment and get a final diagnosis from your provider. So yes, it could be 1-2 years or whatnot before you actually see anything. Sometimes 3 years before you actually see anything, and sometimes more. But be patient and keep a log of all the things that you are either able to do or not able to do, or able to do but with difficulty. Keep a log of all that, because sometimes you don't feel it right away after the accident, but as months and sometimes the years progress, it gets increasingly worse. And you want to be able to let them know what you couldn't do, things that you used to find ease. Like, for instance, me, like I can't jump rope the way I used to, because I have an accident that I had like almost 10 years ago. The moment I do that, it's a wrap. And I didn't even recognize that this would be a problem until like 4 years ago. Mind you, the accident happened like in 2011, 2010. So you want to keep a log of all those things, and you want to make sure you get the right providers that will be able to, they're not psychics, but if they've been working with people who have those type of injuries, they'll probably be able to tell you what kind of injuries they will foresee or what kind of problems they could foresee in the future. So that's something to think about, and hopefully that helps if anybody gets into an accident. I don't care where it is. I don't care if it's in Phoenix or if it's in New York. The 3 things I just stated in the very beginning: make sure you get treated, make sure you find an attorney, and continue treating. Those things will be true for no matter where the attorney is. That's going to remain true regardless if it's a personal injury case.
All right. So let's go. I ask every guest this. What's on your whiteboard is the question. So what do I mean by that? So it differs, but when you're sketching out, what you want to do next month or what is on your whiteboard? Because we believe in building teams, and there's something on your white. I always tell people there's something on your whiteboard that it's been there. Like, okay, I need to handle that, but maybe they're not. Maybe who you need to handle is not in your network. But when you in the Phoenix Rising community, we're all in your network. So, what is it on your whiteboard? I'll give you an example. I was looking for a virtual assistant. And I just didn't have the time. Like I knew I needed one, but I didn't have the time to look for one. And I just told somebody, yeah, I'm looking for a virtual assistant. And when I told them that, like 3 days later, I had all the information I needed to make the decision. Like they was like, oh, okay. And then they because it was out of their network,
Right.
So that's what I always tell people, we, as far as when you're in business, you have to put it out there because you don't know where the help is going to come from.
Absolutely.
So, so what's on your whiteboard right now? What are you trying to, what do you need to accomplish next 2 weeks that, maybe someone who's watching this can assist you with?
I need someone that could, honestly, I want to get in the habit of doing my Lalanne legal tidbits. But with that being said, someone who can edit. I am not good at that at all. That's probably why I'm a little bit more hesitant of putting videos up, because I feel like there's some edits that could be done. And editing for me, editing something for 5 minutes, a 5-minute video is like an all day thing for me. And I'd rather just not do it. So that is what I need. Someone who can also give me little tidbits about videos and the internet, because clearly mine's not stable. So someone who can help me find a company that I can use for better internet, because, right now we're going to be working like this at least for the next year. And I need someone who can help me with that, because I believe I have Comcast. They don't work, evidently. I've gotten a little other portable things that are supposed to help your internet work better. Clearly that's not working, because y'all see me freeze all day. So yeah, that's what I need. All
right. Yeah, I heard that. So hit her on one of her social medias, or IG or Facebook.
There you go. You could call, Instagram, Facebook.
Right. Tell her you saw on Phoenix Rising that you you heard she needed some help. With the editing and the internet, and how you may be of service, because that's our words. How may we be of service? Because that's what we believe in. Serving others. Serving others is what we're here for.
Absolutely.
Man, this has been a great time. We're not done, but I just you always got to let people know that you appreciate them and you appreciate their time. I definitely appreciate you, and this has been fun. So, but I always got to take these breaks because of the world we in. Hit the like button. I can't be the only one that's just amazed with all the information that she has given us, and again, for free. There's a lot of people, accountants and lawyers, when they give you information, they usually charge for it.
I am telling you.
So everybody say, when they give information, she's giving us all this valuable information for free. The least you can do is hit the like button and follow her on her social medias. Hit her, give them your social medias again for her, because people might have joined us. People don't have an hour-long attention span, so they might just join us the last 5-10 minutes.
For sure. Lalanne Law PLLC, Lalanne LALANNE Law PLLC. That is my IG as well as my Facebook. You could also find me on my website, which is www.lalannelawpllc.com. And definitely feel free to email me. You can email me from there. You can send me a DM via Instagram, a private message on Facebook, or just, you could just put it on my page. Either way, I will respond. Maybe not at that very moment, but I will respond. It doesn't matter where you're from. I'm more than happy to help. My friends, my colleagues call me the plug, because I think for everyone and anything that people need. But I've been blessed with that. I've had very good friends, a good network of friends and colleagues in different areas of law, and sometimes not just law, in other areas. You name it, you'll be like, really? Yes. I'm a plug. Didn't know. For the pandemic.
Right, man. So, for those of you who know what the plug is, that's an allusion to a criminal enterprise of the person who has all the connects. So not that just for her being in the criminal defense, she's met a couple of plugs. So that's
right. But not illicit plugs, like just legal plugs. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. I was like, what?
Okay. Yeah. Well, Dex, I don't know where you, but yes. She's a plug. If you don't know what a plug is, type in the comments. I'll explain. Because I did a whole explanation of what the plug was. So maybe I got it, maybe I didn't. This is technology. Hey, sometimes it works and it's great. Then other times, rockets blow up. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
Right.
So we got what's on your whiteboard. We got so as far as the and then, like I said, we'll go. I want to go back to. I want to go back to two things, because I think a lot of times we take this for granted. But kind of explain to them, and I know your grandfather's passed on, and but kind of explain to them what he put into you that you still carry on to this day. Because I think we don't give enough credit to our ancestors.
Agreed. Well, first, both my grandmother and my grandfather passed away in the earthquake. My grandfather gave me the drive to do and want to do better. Like he ever since I was a child, he always wants to do better, just as an individual, as a pharmacist. And for him, me being the first attorney in the family was a big deal, because I honestly think what he saw is what I'm doing, which is being an entrepreneur. He saw something that I didn't see. And unfortunately, I did not get the opportunity to talk to him about all this stuff because, you think you're going to always have time. Time is not, don't take it for granted. Do not take time for granted. They passed away literally 9 days after my birthday. So,
oh, wow.
And I always thought I was going to have more time. You can't have more time. I think my grandmother, on the other hand, she prepared me for what the next role of my life was going to be without me knowing it. She prepared me to be the person that my family was going to rely on for the next 6 to a year without knowing it. Watching her day in, day out, because even though my grandparents lived in Haiti, they came to the States very frequently. And my grandmother prepared me to be the strong person that I am, in the sense of being compassionate and being there for others without realizing that that's what she prepared me for. So I take all of that and I pay it forward when it comes to people who are not my relatives or my friends, but strangers. Because my grandmother was good for helping anyone in need. Didn't matter if you were related or not. And I remember I used to be like, seriously, grandma, so we're stopping. Okay. But now it's a blessing to have that energy, that spirit within me to want to do that. And I'm not looking for anything in return. I just want to help you. That's it. After that, do whatever makes you happy. So I hope I answered it.
Yeah, you did. The great thing about having your own platform is you can do what you want and the people can judge. So I read, and I know I got friends who like, when was the last time you read something? But I read many, many years ago that if you say your ancestors' name, they'll live forever. I'm talking about, I was probably in college when I read this, and I've been out of college for a couple of years. But so what are your grandparents' names?
My grandfather's name is Frederick Poitvien, and my grandmother's name is Innocent de Amour Poitvien.
Right. So I would call Mr. and Mr. Poitvien. Thank you for the blessing that is your granddaughter.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So, but I think we're running out of time, unfortunately. But I know your time is very valuable. You charge by the hour.
I do. I do.
So, but again, I want to thank you. I just want. I hope that everybody in the Phoenix Rising community really understands what a treat and a blessing we've had on the show today. I figured out all the can you hear me now?
You're back. I can hear you now.
I figured it out, all the technology, right? So I have all this technology attached to Bluetooth. So if one technology beeps in, it cancels the other technology. You have to figure that out later, but that you can hear me. But again, I go back to the blessing that is Brew, the information that she shared. If you're not inspired after hearing her story, if you're not inspired after hearing the fact that she readily admits and this is what a lot of people don't understand. When somebody readily admits that they were scared without being prodded, or they were really scared, and when she readily admits that and says that I did it anyway, if that doesn't inspire you to make a decision that business that's been calling you, that idea that's been sitting in the back of your head, to bring that out, then we're probably the wrong program for you. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. We're not here to entertain. It's not entertainment. It's education. It's inspiration. It's information and inspiration, because we want you to do something, because we believe in you. Like there's a business class out there that is dormant in all of our cities. It's Dade County, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Chicago, Charlotte, Houston. And we just want that to spring forth. And if you're not excited right now, like after rewind this and go back to where Bruce said, I was scared, but I did it anyway. I chose being uncomfortable over being scared. And I appreciate you choosing uncomfortable. I appreciate it. And if you ever need to call somebody, and I'm like, Brew, you good being uncomfortable. You good being uncomfortable. Do you? So I always give you the last word. What do you have? Anything, like you're talking to a whole community? What would you want to leave them with?
I want to leave with our community with the fact that just keep going. I don't care what nobody says. If anybody's there trying to dissuade you, keep going. Keep going. Keep going, because there's going to be a lot of naysayers out there for whatever reasons, whether they're scared, whether they are projecting their own insecurities, but keep going. If you have an idea and you don't think it's going to work, who's going to know if it's not going to work unless you try it? Because the last thing you want is for you to say you didn't try it, and then someone comes out 2 weeks later with the idea and it goes viral because you didn't want to do it. Doesn't mean you still can't have the idea and you still can't do it even if it goes viral, because there is space for everyone in this world. And I can tell you that was one of my fears. And there's space for me. I found my space. So y'all can find your space.
And we're so happy you did. And the last thing I'm gonna say is thank you again, Phoenix Rising community. We are here for three reasons really, but I'm gonna put it on one: inform, educate, and inspire. All right, and we are out.
Are we done?